you see a lot of people nervous about that. And I think there's a huge anti-incumbent sentiment that's out there, and I hope it does work very well down in Congressional District 22.
I do too.
But I think that the American people are waking up and they understand that, both sides of the party. I mean, you have Republicans that were not holding to the right principles and values that got us on this road. Now you definitely have the liberals who are definitely showing themselves to be progressive socialists that are, putting the finishing touches on this country.
What do you say?
Go ahead.
What do you say? I want to stay on that theme, but what do you say to Patrick Kennedy when he says health care is a right?
Health care is not a right. And I go once again back to the Constitution and the first 10 amendments, the Bill of Rights, and I don't see health care there. And this is the problem. When you start having a government that tells you that people have a right to this and a right to that, you get the exact same thing that happened when Jimmy Carter created the Community Reinvestment Act. It said basically all Americans had a right to own a home. And 32 years later, we saw the economic morass that created because you changed the criteria, you lower standards, and owning a home is a privilege. Healthcare is a privilege, and the federal government should set the conditions so that the Americans can have their pursuit of happiness, not a guarantee of happiness. That's what the Declaration of Independence says, the pursuit of happiness. And if you go back to Old English law, and John Locke said it was life, liberty, and property. So really what you're starting to see is this federal government being in total violation of the founding principle upon which this country was established. The government will protect our life, liberty, and property.
The things that tend to bother me is I do a lot of writing and talking and on the air about personal responsibility. Now you're retired military. I'm preaching to the choir. You used the word nanny state earlier, or the phrase.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think we're becoming France, and that bothers me. And the other thing that I want to talk in is another piece that's not related to that, but the concept of unsustainability. First thing is, are we really becoming France? I'm not sure people understand what that means. And why aren't they reacting to the unsustainable thing? People saying this is not sustainable. Why not?
I think that people are starting to react to the whole aspect of things being unsustainable. I think it's about 3 weeks ago. USA Today had a front-page article that compared public sector compensation to private sector. And for the first time, you're starting to see public sector outpace the private sector. And you just can't sustain that because that means the money that should go to investment, ingenuity, and innovation is being taken away from people and it's being sent and centralized in the federal government. So I think that this is, a critical time for that. And it is about a government that is willing to create victims so that victims then become dependent and it helps government to grow to take care of them. So individual responsibility and accountability is an incredible cultural phenomenon that we have to fight against in our country.
And how do we do that? Is it a matter of put people into positions of power who in fact represent us? Is that the answer to how we fight this?
That is exactly the answer. The American people have to make a difference in the 2010 midterm elections. They have to, get the gavel out of Nancy Pelosi's hand up there in the House of Representatives, or else this liberal progressive legislative agenda will continue on and they'll just pick up more steam. So, you've got to look around. You got to try candidates that have the right principles and values, that understand the Constitution, and will get this federal government back on track as per the Constitution, which is a fabulous document. And, when taxation is light, its revenues increase. And that's something that we got to go back and establish. And, people don't have to stand up there and speak the hard truths to the American people, not these propagandist lies that will make Goebbels do backflips that you see coming out of this current Obama administration.
Well, see, it's going to be a hard sell. I can't imagine anyone running on saying we're going to start taking some of your entitlements away. And in reality, that is the fix. There's no question about it. But how do you get, and maybe the answer is the Tea Parties, that type of thing, and we only have about 3 minutes on this, how do we get the apathetic American off his duff to not necessarily go to a Tea Party, I don't care, to read, to understand, and to vote, and to make a difference?
Well, I think that what you have to understand, Ron, is there's about a 30-35% out there that I call them, and we use this term in the military, they're stuck on stupid. There's nothing you can do about it. But I think that when you start talking to people about how the number one thing we have to do is transfer the wealth of the United States of America out of Washington, D.C. back to Americans, they'll get it. Because right now, if we continue on with this new style of class warfare that pits a production class against an entitlement class, You have a progressive tax system right now where 45 Americans aren't paying taxes.
And
if they flip that upside down, then this country is over. So that's why I say it's an ideological race, and we just have to get that message out to the 65 to maybe 70% of folks that get it, and we just got to keep drilling it in.
For those who would like more information, the website is GoWest2010.com. That's GoWest2010.com. I want to thank Colonel West for being with us. I want to let you know that he's going to continue, am I correct, sir, with Mike, Will, and Sean on Treasure Coast Forum, which should be up here in about 2 or 3 minutes right after our full top of the hour break. Can you stay with us?
Well, I won't be able to get to them today because I'm out here at a conference for my work that I do, and I got to go into a meeting here in about 2 minutes.
All right. Well, I want to thank you, sir. Just
honored.
Appreciate it. It's been my pleasure, my honor. Thank you so much for being with us. Have a great evening.
And have a great evening to your listening audience.
Thank you, sir. And that too to you too, sir. Okay, I'm Ron Kaufman. Here's hoping that you're enjoying successful. That was easy for me to say. Successful aging. Stay tuned for Treasure Coast Forum. Be right back.